And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be principles to get an X back. Well, I don't have any emails I'm going to go through with you today, but what I am going to go through is I'm going to talk about the most common principles about getting an X back. And I did a video several years ago, the best strategy to get an X back. And so these are bullet points that I've come up with that I'll go through and talk about how to address things like setting dates, because these are like the most common things that.
Yeah, hold that thought. So firstly, let me do my intro. Marquettdavon Burton, the saint and the sinner, giving you lessons from a pimp. And firstly, why do I have to talk about this guy? One of my emperor level patrons said, Marquett, what do you think of Coach Corey Wayne? And I said, who? Corey Wayne. This guy a cowboy? What kind of country hillbilly name is that? So I looked him up. And what I first thought was, why are all these guys calling themselves coaches? If you don't have a whistle and a clipboard, you're not a coach to me, okay? You might give some advice. That's all fine and well, but you're not a coach. And usually when people say, hey, check out so-and-so, I'll take a look at them. And if they're legit, I'll say, hey, they're legit. Go to that fountain and drink. But if they're not legit, well, I got to put them in the frying pan. Why is that? I'm a true believer that as a man, what you stand for is as important as what you stand against. And when I looked at this man's most popular videos, there was one called 7 Principles to Get an X Back. Well, guess what? You shouldn't try to get an X back. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm also going to play some of what this guy is saying. And as he goes through and spreads corruption in the land among the youth, I will correct it. But firstly, let me tell you why you should never, ever, ever try to get an ex back. Why? Because you're trying to move forward in life. Your ex is in your past. What's worse is no matter how good your ex was, no matter how much they were perfect for you, they have a certain view of you that will never change. You cannot recreate yourself and reinvent yourself, even if you have matured, even if you have gone from fat to fit, even if you have gone from broke to well off. They will never truly see the new you. People tell you first impressions are critical. Not only do they have a first impression of you, they also have time invested with you. So their view of you will not change. Even if you change, they won't see the new reality. There's too much baggage. It's not worth trying to repatch something. So do not look over the ashes of a burned bridge. She's your ex for a reason. And if you are of the mindset that she was perfect for me, Marquett, she was perfect, and I lost her, I got to get her back, I'll do anything. If that's your mindset, you have bigger fish to fry. Your biggest problem is not romantic. Your biggest problem is emotional and psychological and values-wise, and that's what you should be working on. Because check this out. If you think there's just one woman on the planet Earth who's your soulmate and you're meant to be with that woman, even though there's literally over 1 billion females on the planet Earth, if you think just that one was meant for you, you're a fool. And here's the problem with your dating coaches and your pickup artists. They're doing this for money, and because they're trying to get your super chats, they're trying to get you to donate, they're going to lie to you and say things that make you feel good or say things you want to hear, such as how to get back with your ex. Whereas me, I don't need your money. I take it because when you go to school, you pay tuition. I take it because as a man, you should know about sacrifice and investment. And I'm a true capitalist and I promote capitalism. What you could offer me would never be what I'm worth. So I just consider it a token, whether you send $1 or you send $1,000. To me, it's just a token. But here's the thing that you must understand. If you came to me and said, Marquett, how do I get my ex back? I tell you, you don't get your ex back. Let that go. Even though that's not what you want to hear, even though that's not going to get you to want to give me a donation, I'm going to tell you that why, because it's the truth. And the only reason I take time out of my precious day to talk to you is to give you the truth. That's the only reason. So Let's play what this individual is saying about the exes. And guys, I know you miss your ex. I know she might have had a big booty. She might have had that wet. She might have been really submissive. She might have been very loving. She might have had all these great qualities, but things fell apart for a reason. And that's what you need to remember and focus on. Carrying on, we're going to hear what Coach Corey Wayne has to say. Corey Wayne, boy. Corey Wayne, get in this house, boy. What kind of name is Corey Wayne? If I would have made my coaching name, I'm not going to lie, I would have made up a different name. And while we're capping, like while we're just talking greasy for no reason, look at me. You see, I got a bald head. The hair stopped growing thick on the top. I said, man, let me just shave it all off. Can somebody get that message to Coach Corey Wayne and let him know to let go of those goddamn hair strands up there and just shave it all off and get Mr. Clean like your boy?
I get questions about it because I'd say probably 90% of the people that first come to me, they've come to me because a breakup happened or they're trying to get an ex back. And then once we really get into it, they either need help with pickup skills, dating skills, relationship skills, quality of life issues, getting in shape, taking care of their body.
Pause, time out. He said when people talk to him, they need help with pickup skills, dating skills, quality of life skills, so on and so forth. This is what's tripping me out. Let me get biblical real quick, if you don't mind. I believe it's the book of James. I haven't messed with the Bible in a while, but I believe the book of James reads, let not many of you be teachers, for teachers are held to a higher level, which is to say, just because you've done something once or twice doesn't mean you should be a teacher. Just because you've read the Quran doesn't mean you should become an imam. Just because you've picked up a few women doesn't mean you need to call yourself a pickup artist. Let's be real here. Look at the way this guy is speaking. I'm not convinced. Who would go to this man for dating advice and pickup artist skills? Doesn't look like he could pick up anything. Looks like he's picking up some bad habits. And the bad habit that he picked up is trying to portray himself as an expert when he's an expert of nothing, and it's blatantly clear. Because I'm feeling no level of magnetism, no level of charm. And I assure you that's what women want. And here's another thing. While we're talking about dating and women, let's be real here. My man is wearing a neon yellow shirt with a black blazer. Now, I've worn some crazy things in my day. I'm not going to lie to you. But if that's not the worst, you're going to trust a white guy who's extremely corny, has a little bit of hair up here, a little more hair over here, and is wearing a black blazer with a neon yellow t-shirt telling you how to pick up women. I mean, that doesn't even seem like a good idea, does it? If you believe that, you probably like to go to beaches in Alaska, don't you? Carrying on, ladies and gentlemen.
Figuring out their purpose, really being successful with members of the opposite sex, whether you're a man or a woman, is about being great yourself, creating a great life and a great lifestyle that you're proud of, that you love and that you enjoy, even if you happen to be single. And if you're trying to re-attract somebody, because a lot of especially the men that I do phone sessions with.
He said the men that I do phone sessions with, what is this dude, a phone sex operator? You're doing phone sessions out here? This guy's a special character, man. But here's the thing that trips me out about what he's saying. First off, we're 2 minutes in, and we're those 7 principles of getting an ex back. He hasn't even gotten to the point. I like when people just get to it. We don't need all this foreplay. The second thing is, I do have to concede he brought up a good point. In general, you want to make sure you're enjoying your life. You're having a good time. You have a great lifestyle. Certainly that will help you attract people, whether it's your ex or whether it's a new woman. So that's a good piece of advice that he said. But guess what? Don't all of these pickup artists and dating coaches say the same thing? Yeah, you got to be on your purpose. You got to be on your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Or you got to focus on your goals. You got to, they're all saying the same thing. Let's hear something novel, something practical and specific that you can actually do and apply. And that's what I'm about. I look at this whole thing as business. And that's why I give you things that you can actually use. You dig? Shout out to Gaius Cruz for all of the support. And thank you for the congratulations on the book. I am so absolutely proud to have finished the Black Box. You dig? Man, this is over 10 years of writing and wisdom in this first volume. So thank you. Congrats on the subs. Hey, man, the subs don't mean anything to me. What means the most is when young men young women, old men, old women, when people in general hear something that they can use in their life today and they make improvements. And if that means that we can reach more people with more subs, that's a beautiful thing. So Gaius, appreciate the support, brother. Jibrizy Magic, welcome, my brother. Welcome. Talk to me. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I was just about to knock out. Just got back from Santa Monica, and I was
Okay.
on my phone, and then I turn over and I see that you on. I'm like, oh man, what is this?
Let's
This
get it.
dude, he getting on another person. I was like, yo,
Let's get it.
all these damn frauds out here on YouTube.
Hey, man, you know,
There's too many.
I try to be on the Saint side, but sometimes they push me to the center side. You know, one of my patrons hop in my DM, say, Marquett, what do you think of so-and-so? I check so-and-so out. I'm like, oh, homie, legit. Like, if you ask me about, like, Sinful the P, I'm like, he kicking some real good game. You ask me about Mr. Lucario. I'm like, he seems a Thea issue. And then they said Corey Wayne. I was like, hold on. Now you brought this center back out. I got to. So, you know, we going to talk this talk. If you have any words you want to share before I put Coach Corey Wayne back on, let me know.
Man, look, I can tell you, I'm an open book. I ain't gonna lie. I did the whole X thing, first girlfriend. Not a smart move for any man. So with this guy saying, if he even had one girlfriend, he would know better.
Yes.
He would know better.
It never works.
It don't work.
You might go back and get you know, hit it a few more times, right? But the relationship's gonna break back down. Let me see what Corey Wayne talking about. Let's see if we can soak up some game from good old Corey Wayne.
A big reason is a lot of them don't have a great purpose or a mission in life, or they're just simply not happy. And by getting them focused on what they really need to be focused on as a man, having some ambition, some goals, some dreams, some things they're pursuing passionately, it helps balance out and smooth over the rough edges, so to speak. And it causes them to become more attractive, not only to the ex who they'd like to get back, but just women in general.
See, Jibrizy, I'm almost about to fall asleep listening to the Corey Wayne. And this is why I don't believe that he is a dating coach, a pickup artist, because I'm an academic person. I'm an intellectual, right? So if we were talking interpersonally, just one-on-one at a coffee shop, I might talk in a monotone like Coach Corey Wayne. But understanding that we have an audience in front of us and we need to engage in edutainment so that people can connect emotions to what we're saying and retain what we're saying, I know I have to be engaging. And similarly with the female animal, women love fun. They love mystery. They love excitement. You're a magician. You know that, right? You got to kind of have that setup and hit them with the ta-da, bitch, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have that spark. And the thing is, like, he mentioned, like, well, as a man, you need to da-da-da-da. Well, I'm not looking at him and feeling the man vibe. Some men are, like, you know, very masculine. You're like, okay, I get you, bruh. You feel like DMX, where my dog at? and some men are super smooth. You know, they talk real player like Goldie, or they talk player like Snoop Dogg. You dig? So I'm not feeling any level of charisma from him. So I'm just trying to figure out, how is he even attracting the girl in the first place so she could become the ex? That's what's killing me.
It seems as if this guy is making his content for women. It seems like he's making content for women to show to their man. That's what it feels like when I'm watching this guy talk. I don't feel as if there's men that are actually stumbling upon this and watching it themselves, because it's that whole, like you're saying, the edutainment aspect. He seems to be a confirmation for women to make them feel as if they feel validated, that their opinion is right. That's what this guy kind of comes across to me like. That's his channel. That's his channel. It's not for you. Not for us.
Right.
It's for them.
A little bit of a lady boy, huh?
A lady boy.
When you see me talking greasy, I want you to know a couple things. Because generally speaking, I do not promote backbiting or anything like that. If you've observed my whole catalog, you know my philosophy, and certainly you don't want to waste words. What we're doing right now is we are in the same industry and he's a competitor, and I am putting forward my philosophy, lining it up in juxtaposition against his philosophy, and I'm pointing out the errors. I'm also roasting him because I just enjoy roasting people. I'm a cat from LA. That's what we do. In African American culture, what I do is for men. What I do is for boys who want to grow into men. If you happen to be a female and you sitting around watching what we do, fantastic. But hey, baby, this ain't the place to get sensitive. You dig? This is the place to hear the real. This is the place to hear the truth. And further, if you read or listened to my review of Machiavelli's The Prince, we're making chess moves here. There's a reason we do what we do. So if you're part of the Assassin, if you're on Patreon, maybe you get to hear my inner thoughts. If you're not, maybe you don't. But just know that the big homie is always making chess moves. And I do it, it's all man with me. There's nothing funny. So if I saw Corey Wayne, would I tell him face to face what I'm saying right now? You better believe it. Tell Corey Wayne. So here we go, getting back to the coach. You dig? So let me do that screen share so you guys can see the coach.
So I got a quote that I wrote, and then I'm going to go through the quote, and then I'm just going to go bullet point by bullet point to cover these things. And the quote says, the strongest negotiating position in any personal or professional human interaction is being able to walk away and mean it. If you got dumped by a lover who you wanted to keep in your life, you must state what you want and then walk away and never look back. If they care or still have any romantic feelings for you, they will reach out in the future. If that happens, simply focus on creating a great date. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. Do not focus on a relationship commitment or dating labels. It must be their idea to become exclusive when you are the one who got dumped.
Wow. Wowzer. Wowzer. So here's what's tripping me out about Coach Corey Wayne. Firstly, he didn't even go through the analysis of, okay, your relationship's over. She's now your ex-girlfriend. Why is that? That's something to consider, because what you don't realize is on a biological level, if you're looking at the brain's chemistry, love is like a drug in that it stimulates serotonin, dopamine, all these neurotransmitters that make you feel good. It makes you feel happy. Similarly, when you quit a drug, you go through withdrawal, even though the drug's not good for you. So if you were a heroin addict and you stop using heroin, guess what? You're going to desire the heroin even though it destroys you, even though it is not good for you. The same thing, when you remove this woman from your life, you're going to go through withdrawal. You're going to go through emotional pain because you're lacking her presence, which gave you familiarity. It gave you assurance. It gave you the feeling of safety. It gave you someone to have sex with. It gave you someone to spend time with. So you're missing those things, but you're not necessarily missing that individual, because that individual woman probably wasn't good for you. That's why things ended. But hey, imagine, even if she was great for you, if she dumped you, obviously she saw a lack in you. And do you really want to get back with a woman who sees a lack in you? No, you want a woman who views you with esteem. So even if you have changed, you need to find a new woman who can see the new you. That's number one. Magic, you got anything to say before we go? We talk a little more on it? Oh, you're on mute. I can't hear you, brethren.
No, I mute these headphones every now and then,
okay,
so that I don't interrupt or anything. I'll be laughing and cracking up, so I don't want to be laughing over you talking.
Sure.
But no, you pretty much spot on in terms of what you said. Yeah, brother, I'm going to validate that. I second that.
Yeah. And continuing on with the young man, Coach Corey Wayne. Coach Corey Wayne says,
is he really young though?
like, I'm gonna need to get this man a whistle. He calling himself a coach. But Coach Corey Wayne says you always have to be able to walk away in any negotiation. Yeah, this is true. But here's the problem. This is how I know he's not a proper businessman. Because in a negotiation in which one party knows that you're not willing to walk away, they have the leverage. If you approach your ex again in any form, you fail to walk away. So that's out the window. If you told them, hey, I'm interested, or hey, let's go out on a date, or hey, stay in contact, you've removed your ability to walk away because you've already come back. So clearly what he's saying is not straightforward. He's doing double talk right now. And that is problematic. As an African American, I always say, make it plain. You heard me? My ancestors were enslaved. My grandmother stopped school in the 4th grade to pick cotton. So when I talk to her, she would say, Mark, make it plain. You heard me? Make it simple so I can understand it. And that's what I try to do. This guy's doing double talk. Who does double talk? Used car salesmen. Because they're selling you something that has no value. They have to dress it up with words and confuse you. And that's what this guy's doing. So let's go get on back to this rodeo. Coach Corey Wayne. Wow.
If you dump them but now want them back, contact them, apologize for being an ass, and tell them you would like to see them. Make a date. If they won't make a date, tell them to call you if they change their mind and walk and never look back. You always must give an ex-lover the freedom, choice, space, and time to decide to see you romantically again.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy, do I want to cuss this out. He said apologize.
Oh, you heard that? Oh, you heard that, huh? Okay.
That's what you don't do. You don't apologize. You don't apologize. You don't apologize.
He didn't even say if you were wrong, apologize. He said just apologize. Oh, like you could have been 100% right. The broad could have cheated on you and dumped you, and he said apologize. No caveat, no nothing.
No, that nigga just I already know off the bat, he ain't getting smashed, man. He is not getting smashed. He is not. I don't know what women he dealing with. I don't.
Here's the other thing that you have to consider when you're listening to advice from charlatans who purport to be dating coaches. When you're looking at a situation with your ex-girlfriend, he said you should apologize. He said that you should tell them, hey, if you want to get in contact, feel free to reach out to me if you want to. So basically what you're doing in that situation is you're saying you're 100% wrong, which who wants to get back with the person who was wrong, right? Then you're basically saying, hey, reach out to me if you want to, which is basically saying, hey, I'm available. I don't have anything lined up. I'm going to be sitting at home, Netflix and chilling by my damn self. So if you happen to call me or text me, I'm going to be here. I'll be right here where you left me. That's loser status. If you've ever dealt with a female and noticed that women are very jealous creatures, if you really wanted to get your ex's attention, you do that by succeeding. You do that by bringing in more women and more options and more abundance so that when she does come back, she comes back knowing she's in a competitive environment where she has to outperform other qualified females. What you don't do is tell the chick, hey, baby, when you feel like it, I'll be right here. Feel free to bang my line at your convenience. No, that's what you don't do. That's called desperate. And to listen to this guy's tonation, you could tell he's ultra vaginal. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he goes home at night. Hey, honey, are you going to put the strap on, or am I, like, you going to me, or am I you tonight? How's this going? Like this dude is ridiculous.
Hey, when I listen to this guy and guys like him, I wonder if they want a kind of like a female-minded audience base of men because they're more easy to manipulate. You know what I mean? They're more susceptible to being manipulated because you're emasculating them the entire process of whatever you're trying to sell them. Because I'm like, it seems as if you want them to be this, I don't want to say vulnerable.
Right.
I don't think, but I want to say, I'm trying to find the words.
Yeah.
They don't have a backbone. So when they don't have a backbone, now it's easy for you to bend them. And it seems like he wants to bend his customers over, and he wants to stick it up you, pocket-wise.
Oh, agreed, 100%. And that's what a lot of these guys are out to try to make a living, giving advice to young men. And that's not something you should make a living out of. You should make a living from a real goddamn job. That's what I promote, you dig? I mean, it's outrageous. Let's see what Coach Corey. Oh, yeah, and one more thing I want to point out, guys. Anytime you engage in something, I always tell you to go for the best. If you want to become a hockey player, learn under Wayne Gretzky. If you want to become a boxer, go find Floyd Mayweather Sr. and get him to train you. Always go for the best. There's no reason to do anything less than that. Our time is limited. You will never be younger than you are today. So go for the best, strive for the top. Now, if this man purports to be a teacher of young men, he purports to be a pickup artist, a dating coach, you would think he would be good with his words. You would think he'd be able to speak extemporaneously, meaning off the top of the head. You will notice when I click play, he's looking at perhaps a teleprompter and he's reading. And that's ironic because he's reading things he wrote. If you wrote it, shouldn't you know it? If you lived it, if you did it or done it, shouldn't you know it? Shouldn't it be in your blood by now? And that's my problem, is that you're learning from people who have learned it. You're learning from a guy who read a book about it instead of going to the person where it's in their blood, where they don't have any choice but to spit the game. It's how they live. It's how they were raised. And that's what I'm encouraging you guys to do, is always go for the best. He is not the best coach. In fact, I don't think he's good at any of the things he says he does.
That is why continually contacting them to change their mind is a weak position and will never work. So let's go through the first bullet point here. And I'm just going to go through and read these because I've got the bullet points and then there's some text that I wrote. And so I want to make sure that I cover the things specifically that are the most important. There's basically 13 different bullet points that I've come up with here.
Get to it.
I mean, we'd say it's lucky 13, of course. So the first one is, this is what you do if you're the one who got dumped, obviously not by your choice. You must communicate that you do not accept being friend-zoned or no longer being together, but instead want to continue seeing them. If they are unwilling to continue seeing you or give you another chance, you tell them to get in touch with you if they ever change their mind. You must let them go forever and never contact them again for any reason. You must.
Do you gentlemen have any thoughts on what the gentleman is saying? Coach Corey Wayne?
You know, some bullshit. That's like, as simple as I could put it. My man's is like, he said, let them know they can always come back. You know, I'm like, wait, what? Like, that sounds like a desperate measure. That literally sounds like you're trying to bait them in. You know? It sounds like a weak position.
His actual wording was, if they ever, and ever is an indefinite amount of time. Now, what you know in business is that anytime you're doing a deal, you're more likely to close the deal if it has a time limit. You even hear in sales, people say, this is a limited time offer, right? Meaning if you don't act now, someone else might take this deal, or I might pull this deal off of the table. So how can you ever establish value in yourself if you're saying, I will always be here for you? If you will always be there for that female, what she's going to do to you is put you on the back burner. You're going to be a side bitch. Imagine being a male side bitch. That is what he's creating for you through his advice by saying, hey, don't talk to her, but be open to her reaching out to you at any time. No, if you're living a real life of meaning and you actually have women in your life, she's an interruption. You should be trying to cut that off so she doesn't mess up the new things that you have going on. Coach Corey Wayne, I'm not even going to play anything back on what he said because he's so freaking boring and he's literally reading. He's literally reading off of a screen of something. And that's why the young man who said, what do you think of Coach Corey Wayne? The reason I wanted to bring Coach Corey Wayne to the forefront, not to aggrandize him, not to aggrandize myself, but to say, fellas, if you want to do something at a high level, listen to the people who have done it at a high level. I do not believe in my heart that Coach Corey Wayne was ever in Dubai with two French girls trying to learn the definition of ménage à trois. I don't believe that's been the case for him. When I look at him, I feel like he's a manager at Home Depot or something like that. I mean, it just doesn't add up. So I'm going to stop capping, folks. We're going to take some questions here. And the whole fasten is open to answer your questions. So let me tell you, time is limited. It's 12 a.m. here. It's 3 a.m. on the East Coast. If you have a question, I advise you go ahead and get that question in now. I am going to review the comments. I'm going to unmute everybody if you guys want to share any thoughts, questions, comments. But I'm going to look through right now and see if folks are sharing their questions.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to provide a little bit of context about this Corey Wayne guy and my history with him. Yeah, so I yeah, so I actually came across a few of his videos back in 2016, just to kind of see what he was about, because I was curious about some stuff some stuff about the content that he had, and I did notice that like I couldn't articulate it at the time, but something was off. I can tell that there wasn't that personal magnetism. He was kind of like a swagless dating coach that it was kind of hard to look up to him, but he was producing content and he had a bunch of followers and stuff like that. So I couldn't help but not to at least dig in a little bit deeper, right? And so, but yeah, I did notice that, and you articulated it pretty well. The second point I wanted to make was that I had a girlfriend at the time, and she was scrolling through her home YouTube feed. So, on the home YouTube feed, it showed like it showed some of the channels that she had already watched, and I kid you not, Corey Wayne came up on there quite a bit of time. So, I'm pretty sure.
Oh
yeah.
God!
Females love him. I bet they love him because Corey Wayne gets you to behave like a woman wants you to behave. And you know what?
Damn.
Here's a very important thing that I really want to highlight for everyone watching. And as men, we need to be concerned with what is real. That is a major difference between the male and the female. Whereas a man goes out and is comfortable saying, hey, I'm fat, stupid, and ugly. This is who I am, right? A woman wants to cover it up and hide it. Fake eyelashes, makeup, lipstick over the lips, wigs, breast implants, all of these fake things that mask who they really are. Men lie about superficial things like what we have. We lie about our car, our bank account, things that are physical and inconsequential at the end of the day. Women lie about who they actually are, their values, their thoughts, their relationship status, their intentions, right? So that's something to be very concerned about. So never cross that line.
Baby.
What's that?
It's your baby. It's your kid. They lie about that big shit. For real.
Bro, can we all bow our heads for the brother Maury? Maury has done so much work for mankind. I'm talking about Maury Povich, the big homie who would say, and Zach, you are not the father, right? Like brother, like a lot of cats wouldn't know who their father is if it wasn't for Maury.
They're like waiting on that death sentence, man. Whether or not you're gonna get that waiting for that 20 years, or you gonna get parole, let go,
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. So to the whole point about this Corey Wayne guy, when you look at something, don't be fooled. And that's the only reason I get on these live sessions. So I say that to say, am I calling out frauds? Absolutely. Am I hating on people? Not at all. If I saw Coach Corey Wayne, I'll probably buy him a drink. I'd chop up some game with him. I'll have some fun. But in terms of him saying that he knows things that he doesn't know, well, I got to speak up on that.